Kia ora e te whānau. My name is Bonnie, and we are gathered here today to discuss some aesthetic hobby ideas. Everybody and their mum at the moment is getting into the hobby girl era. I myself am a self proclaimed hobby enthusiast. I have literally, I tried to write a list of my hobbies and it filled a whole A4 page of my journal, and then I honestly just kind of like lost interest in writing about it before I ran out of hobby ideas. And I've tried probably at least 3 or 4 more since then. So I'm a hobby girl. I love hobbies. It's honestly my favourite way of enjoying life, really. Like spending my free time not just sitting on my phone scrolling and or watching videos for hours or anything like that. Now I actually have really fun, enjoyable things to do with my time, and I really just want to share some cool ideas with you. So, pretty much that's like the kind of content that you can expect from me for a wee while. I don't know if that's what I'm going to do forever, but that's definitely what I feel like called to do for right now. So, without further ado, let's get into some aesthetic hobby ideas. So, my first idea is okay, when I say aesthetic, I basically just mean stuff that people already kind of probably know about, but like also, this the stuff that you see on TikTok, the stuff that you see that Pinterest girlies doing, all the people on Instagram and stuff who look like they're having a really nice time and enjoying their lives, doing cute, fun things that just look really enjoyable and also look cute in pictures, I think. So, hobby number one is journaling. Um, this is not new. This is not new. Everybody knows about journaling. But honestly, I thought journaling had to be like you spent all your time writing about your feelings and like even, just writing about your day and things that have been happening and stuff. That's boring to me. I don't want to do that. I have no interest in spending hours of my life writing about my feelings. Like when I need to process my emotions, I just talk to myself out loud. So I don't really feel the need to you write it all down. Like that's just not fast enough for me. If I need to record it, then I'll just record it on like a vlog like this and then just not post it. But usually I just talk to myself and I can usually process things pretty well like that. So I just didn't think journaling was for me. And then I realised I've been journaling for years. I just write lists of things in any notebook or on any random bit of paper whenever I'm bored. Like, especially, I used to work with kids doing like after school care and stuff. And, you can't, like, obviously can't be on your phone. And, you're meant to be playing with them and stuff most of the time. But sometimes, like, they're all busy doing their own thing. They don't need you to be involved right now. They need time to be children and not have adult interference in their lives. And you just need to like make sure that they survive and don't hurt each other and don't say anything horrible. So as long as that's all under control, sometimes you have a little bit of downtime. And some people would colour in or play with the Lego or tidy things or whatever. I did all those things too, but one of my main things that I used to always do was just grab a blank piece of paper and a felt pen and just write a list of stuff. Just write a list of things that I wanted to do, or bucket list ideas, or ideas for my future house, like just random lists of ideas. So now I've realised that is my form of journaling. Journaling for me is just writing lists of ideas of stuff, like with a little theme, like under the title, and then I just write a big list. And I've gone through 3 journals already. Like I'll show you the size. I'm literally reading off a list I made in my journal to make this video. This is my journal currently, but it's like, just a school exercise book kind of thing. A ring bound one. And I've gone through 3 of those since January. It's July. Yeah. I'm now a journaling girl. And that is straight up just because I realised, journaling doesn't have to be about your feelings. Journaling doesn't have to be about anything in particular at all. It could literally just be you writing stuff. That's journaling. You write things in a book. That's journaling. You're doing it. Ka pai. Like, seriously. It was revolutionary when I figured that out. So Now you know, you can journal regardless of what you have to think about or what you have to write about. You journal away to your heart's content about whatever the frick you feel like. You could write about the Bee Movie. You could write about the walnuts that you found last autumn. Whatever you want. Literally anything. Okay, moving along. Hobby number 2 is reading. I know not everybody really likes to read. I feel that. I used to absolutely be the biggest reading girl in the whole wide world when I was a kid. I was like one of those super bookworms who straight up always had a book with them wherever they went. Like anytime I'd go to like my family's house or even my friends' houses sometimes, or like a birthday party, I'd always have a book just in case. Like I wasn't planning on going there to read, but I was like, well, I will have an option of something to do if I get bored. So whenever I felt like I feel a bit socially awkward or I'm bored or I've got no one to talk to or whatever, I'm just going to go and read in the corner. And I kept myself so happy doing that, and I forgot all about that feeling that it gave me. You know, once you get a cell phone or Wi-Fi, yeah, you just lose all your hobbies. That's your hobby now, is social media and taking photos and whatever. So yeah, I lost my hobbies for years, and reading was like my core hobby when I was a kid. So I don't know, I just like decided, well, I guess as an adult, I kind of wanted to get back into reading, didn't feel like I had the time because I was spending it on social media. And then I just decided, what actually happened now that I think about it? I think I was just like, you know what, I do want to read again, but I don't know what I want to read kind of thing. Like I felt like, oh, I should read, you know, like I'm a young adult, so I should probably be reading YA books. Or like, I'm a real adult now, maybe I should be reading adult books. Boring. No, not for me. I don't read adult books. I read children's books. I read novels, you know, from the kids section, and I freaking love it. I just finished the Famous Five series, which was one of the first chapter book series I ever read as a kid, and I loved it as a child, and I love it as an adult. And it's honestly been game changing. Like, I've been reading it since October. Like I said, it's now July, and I've only just finished the series. There was 21 books. So that's really, like, held me down the last half a year. Longer than that. Nearly a whole year I've been reading those books. And that's the thing, like, reading doesn't have to be so serious. Like, you don't have to have a daily reading habit. You don't have to read, you know, this amount of books in a month or whatever. You can just read because you feel like it, because it's fun, because it's a nice way to spend your time. It's fun to get lost in a story. Like, you can literally just read a couple pages a day if you want to. You can read a couple pages a week if you want to. You can one day read a whole book and then not touch another book for 2 weeks and then be like, actually, I would like to get back into reading again. You know, you don't have to have a reading habit to have a reading hobby. You feel me? Honestly, when you realize that you don't have to stick to things for it to still be a hobby to you, it just changes the game. It really does. It's so revolutionary. There are no rules to hobbies. You can just do you. You can be you. You can do whatever you like. It's freaking amazing. It's so freeing. Okay. Oh, also, with reading, you don't have to read, like, chapter books if you don't want to. You can read picture books. I literally read a picture book today. Like, I just finished reading a picture book, actually, and I didn't read the whole thing. It was, like, one of those ones that's, like, a little collection of short stories, and I just read, like, probably 3 short stories and a poem, and looked at the pictures, and I put the pictures up in the sunlight, because it was, like, that golden hour sort of sunlight. I'll put the pictures up in the sunlight, and they were so beautiful. The illustrations are gorgeous. I'll put them in here because it was just stunning. Honestly, read picture books. It's fun, even if you read novels as well. Also read picture books for fun. Like, I still have a whole bunch from when I was a kid, so I just have like my nostalgic ones. But you can go to the library and just have a look at picture books if you want to. Buy them on Amazon or at the bookstore. Like, you can do whatever you like. You're an adult. You can do whatever you like. This is the best thing about being an adult. No one can stop you. You can be yourself. You can do anything you want, and nobody can stop you. Be the adult that your child self wanted you to be. Be the adult that your child self spent half their childhood wishing they were grown up to be. Don't let them down. Don't be a boring adult just because everybody else is a boring adult. Like, no. Be a fun adult. Buy picture books. Freaking do fun things. Enjoy your life and have cute hobbies. And be free about it and don't feel like you have to have any rules or any restrictions. You can just do whatever the frick you want because it's your life. Okay, anyways, next hobby, scrapbooking and junk journaling. To some people, these are the same thing, which is fabulous for you. Honestly, good for you. To me, scrapbooking is curated, it's aesthetic, it's pretty, it looks really nice, it's like real put together. Usually it involves photos, but sometimes it just involves pretty things and maybe some writing, maybe not, whatever you like. But usually to me, scrapbooking would be like you are trying to make this piece of paper beautiful, just stunning, as gorgeous as it can be, because it's cute and fun and an aesthetic hobby. And it's just really enjoyable. And then to me, junk journaling is not giving a frick about all of that and just taking stuff that you found that you like, things that you found along your journey, whether it's literal rubbish like wrappers or whatever, or if it's like fabric scraps or like pressed leaves or anything, literally anything, business cards, whatever you like. And then you just stick them all onto a page, maybe write something if you had something that you wanted to remember these things by, or if there's some like little story that goes along with them or anything like that. And if not, literally just stick a bunch of things to a page, just make it look cool how you think it looks cool, or just literally stick them there to remember them. Like it could literally just be like, this is a journal full of stuff I have collected along my journey. That could be a junk journal to you. To me, my junk journal is I collect cool things, especially on like, when I do something fun. Like the other day I went to an art expo with my mum and I collected a whole bunch of business cards from different artists and I got the little program from the show and I just like stuck them all down and then I wrote about the show, like about the expo and, the whole day really. Because there was some cool, things that happened there. So I'll show you that page as well. But yeah, to me, like, scrapbooking and junk journaling are two different ends of the same spectrum, basically. But, they could be the same thing to you. They could be literally whatever you like. It is your life. You can do what you want. It is your art. Next hobby is, like, flower-related crafty things. So, like, flower arranging, flower picking, and flower pressing and drying. You don't have to do all of the above, you could just do one. You could do all the above if you like, it's up to you. I think I've probably done all of them at different times. I don't usually do them all in one go because that is a lot of work and I usually lose interest before then. But like I love, especially in the springtime, obviously that's the best time for it, but I feel like there's probably flowers most of the year around, to be honest. I saw a bush full of flowers and it's the middle of winter right now, so I don't know what to tell you. But it doesn't have to be flowers. It could be leaves if it's autumn, or it could be like, well, honestly, anything. This one is specifically about flowers, but you could literally you can do it with leaves too. But yeah, pressing flowers and sticking them in your junk journal, sticking them in your scrapbook, or sticking them in your journal, or making a little bookmark to put in your book for your reading. Like, that's the thing. These can all really go together. And then drying flowers, they always look so cute hanging in like windows, or like you can stick them on your wall and make a little wall hangy thing. Cute. Or like I've got a vase full of dried flowers of like different, I usually grab like one flower from each bouquet that my partner gets for me. If possible, sometimes they're not really the dryable kind, and that's okay. Sometimes I try to press those ones. Sometimes I just leave them in the jar and appreciate them as they are, and then once they're dead, they're dead. It is what it is. My partner gets me enough flowers that I don't need to be so precious about it, so it's okay. Sorry. That was a real unnecessary humble brag. Just a brag, not even humble. Anyhow. And flower arranging, literally, you could actually be like a proper girly girl about it and like go and buy actual bouquets from like the supermarket or a florist if you want. If you're a bougie queen and you want to do that, you can. Personally, I am not a bougie queen, so I'm not going to be doing that. The most I would consider would be supermarket or dairy flowers, but even that, I'm probably not going to do this. But you could go and buy a bunch of different bouquets and then, bring them home and then take them all apart and then arrange your own little bouquets, and then you can make a massive one if you wanted to, or you can make a bunch of smaller ones to have in different rooms, or you could give them away. Up to you. You can do whatever you like. Or you could have like a little flower arranging party with your friends or your family, and like you could all do that together. Maybe everybody brings a bouquet, so you only have to buy one, and then take them apart, and then you'll arrange your own bouquet, and you've all got one to take home. That could be cute. But yeah, flower pressing, flower drying, flower arranging, all the flowery things. Also, you could just go on a walk and pick some flowers on your way, preferably not out of people's gardens or out of like protected nature areas. But like, in Christchurch, for example, we have a whole lot of red zone, which is just like area where you can't build because it's a bit. We had an earthquake. It's just not good anymore. You can't build there. That used to be housing, so there's a lot of like flower bushes and stuff from people's old houses and people's old gardens. That's where I like to go and get my flowers. That's where I like to go on my walks to get flowers. But, I don't know what's in other people's cities. I'm sure there are wildflowers around. I'm sure there are areas where it's probably fine to take like one or two. Just don't probably strip a whole bush. Whenever you're doing anything that involves nature, just be mindful, be careful, be thoughtful about the environment and about the laws as well. But yeah, that's definitely an aesthetic hobby. Along with that one comes collecting shells and rocks and like crystals. Definitely. That's probably not really something you can just go out and find in the wild, but like, I mean, you might be able to where you live, but like, that's kind of specific. Generally speaking. Well, I mean, you can. There are definitely places where you can. Like, even in the South Island, we've got Birdlings Flat, which is not that far from Christchurch, where you can go there, and there's like a big beach where a whole lot of the sand, a whole lot of the stones there are like precious gems. Generally speaking, going out and hunting crystals might not be the easiest thing for you to do in the wild, but you can go to shops and buy crystals. That's definitely a great thing to collect. The point is the collecting part. Collecting rocks, collecting shells on your little walks, on your little hot girl walks, or on your wee adventures. Like every time I go on an adventure to like a beach or a river or something like that, I always collect some rocks or some shells, and then take them home, and if they're really cool or if we have been like traveling to get there, then I usually put some in a jar, just a small jar that's specifically for, oh, this is from this place and this is from this place. And then I've got like big jars that I keep at the moment, just shells, and like I'll do like a layer of shells from this one place and then put like a little label on it that says this place. You can also use those things for crafts. Making things out of shells is so definitely aesthetic. Are you kidding me? Making things out of crystals is definitely aesthetic and definitely fun too. Like, aesthetic is just the title of this. It's just like the theme. It's not necessarily the reason that you're doing it. I would hope it's not the reason that you're doing it, to be honest. If you're doing hobbies just to be aesthetic, I mean, you're going to get the benefits of the hobby anyway, so go off if that's what you're doing. I'm not judging. Along with that comes geode hunting. This is a little bit more accessible. Like, it is physically possible for geodes to be present in most regions of the planet, but they're obviously way more common in certain areas than others. That's not obvious. They are way more present in certain areas than others. You can always Google if your area or if anywhere near you has like a lot of geodes, but otherwise, look up videos about it and stuff, like what to look for, because it's definitely like not something I'm a super expert in. I just saw some girl on Instagram do it, and I was like, oh my god, that looks like fun, and she gave some tips, and her tips were this is Mardy Mermaid on Instagram, by the way. She's a great artist. Love her. Go support her. But she went geode hunting years ago. It was probably like 2 or 3 years ago now, that I saw this video. But she went geode hunting, and she just said to look for sort of like clods like that, like round clods of mud under, or dirt under big roots of trees that are by like rivers, like right in the water banks of rivers, you know, where sort of erosion has happened between the tree under root and the water. I don't know what the scientific thing going on there is, but if you look under big roots of trees that are right in the waterbeds of rivers and find big clods like that, whack them open with a hammer and see if there's some crystals inside, because there might be. But I'd do some research because you don't want to be super disappointed, you know. But it'd still be fun. You could find lots of other things. You might find some cool places. You never know. Next hobby is painting. Any kind of painting, really, but specifically watercolor is definitely like the most aesthetic one, I think. But like acrylic painting, oil painting, you could use like there's like watercolor pencils and stuff that you paint the water over that you can do. That's sort of like a bit of an in-between one. Paint by numbers. Any kind of painting, really. Just the act of painting is fun. Another one is sketching. Sketching's definitely a really cute one, like, you know, with the little line drawings and the ink pen. I think get an actual set of sketching pencils. They're pretty cheap from like either an art shop, or you can usually get them from like the $2 shop. You don't usually have to look too hard for them, or just any stationery shop will have them. They're not usually too expensive. They're definitely under $10 for the most part. But like realistically, you can just use any pencil. A pencil will do, just so you can get the shapes that you want without having to like scribble over things or just deal with the fact that there are mistakes there. And then I'd go over it with a black ink liner if you can, but literally I've seen so many cool sketches just with like a biro pen. So whatever you've got, use it. Do some art. Who cares? Who cares if it's good? That's the thing with art. A lot of the time people don't want to do art because they think they're not going to be good at it. Who cares? We're doing this for fun. It's a hobby. You don't have to be good at something for it to be your hobby. You don't have to do it all the time for it to be your hobby. I paint probably once every, I don't know, few months. Like, I don't paint very often, but I like painting. It's fun. I enjoy it. I would consider it a hobby. I just don't usually paint unless I'm painting for a specific reason. But sometimes I just feel like painting and I'm like, you know what? I just literally want the sensation of acrylic paint on my brush and just smearing it all over the place and putting it wherever the frick I feel like it. And usually those pieces of art don't get kept, and that's fine. You don't have to keep every piece of art that you have. You can chuck it away if it's shit. It's fine. Who cares? You're just doing it for fun. So don't let that hold you back. Don't be like, oh my god, I can't do sketching because I'm not good at it. You're not going to get good at it if you don't try, firstly. And secondly, who cares? You're not trying to be an artist. You're not trying to, like, make money off this and, like, you know, show everybody. This could just be a thing that you do for fun at home, you know, after you've had dinner, instead of spending 3 hours on social media before you go to bed. Who cares? Just do whatever you feel like. The next one is songwriting. Oh my gosh, songwriting? Are you kidding me? Cute! Along with that is, like, poetry as well. Poetry is definitely probably the more, like, accessible one, because not everybody is, you know, a musical girl, and that is fine. You don't have to be musical to be able to make beautiful poetry. Songwriting is poetry, so you know, it's poetry with music to it. It's all the same. But writing any kind of expressive literature is always going to be a good time. You're always going to enjoy it. You're always going to feel good afterwards and feel quite proud, I think. Even if you, like, you know, read it back and you're like, well, that's not for anybody else to see, you can still look back and be like, I did that. Who else is out here doing that? I did it. Go me. Because that's the thing, how many people are out here writing songs? How many people are out here writing poems? Like, you do you. So yeah, don't judge yourself. Don't judge yourself. Just do cute things because it's fun and cute. Following on from that is creative writing, especially if you are this kind of person going for like a novel. That's definitely very aesthetic and very cool. That's obviously a lot of work. That's hard money. Not something that's going to just, you know, you're not going to crack that out in 2 days. But I mean, maybe. If you really hyperfixate on it, maybe you will. But generally speaking. But just creative writing in general, like short stories, poetry again, anything you want. You could write your own picture book. You could write your own novel. Just creative writing. Creative writing is so much fun. I used to love creative writing when I was a kid. It was like my favourite thing to do whenever we had free time at school. Where we had like, I think it was like year 3 or something. We had this like wall of little cubbies full of activities that we could do when we'd finished our work, and I'd always try to finish my work as quick as possible so I'd have some free time so I could go over to the little cubby and pull out the little coloured paper that they had for us to creative write on, and they'd be like, here is your piece of paper. It was probably like that big, so like probably not even quite A5, and they'd be like, here you go, that's what you get to creative write on, write whatever you like. And I'd write all these little stories and just so many cool things. I don't remember one single word of anything I wrote as a kid. I have no idea. Don't have any of the books left either, so couldn't tell you, but I loved it. It was one of my favourite things. I really enjoyed it. I'd love to get back into creative writing. It's probably not something I'm going to do at the moment, but it's definitely a hobby I'll get back into at some point, I'm sure of it. Because, like, that's the thing about being a hobby hoarder. You can have 100 hobbies and just cycle through them. And just go, you know what, I'd like to do a bit of that and a bit of that today, and I'd like to do that and that tomorrow. And I'm not going to touch any of those for another 6 months. Like, do what you like. Live your life. The final aesthetic hobby is tarot reading, or getting into tarot or astrology, or any of that kind of like spiritual side of things. Even like breathwork or yoga or meditation is all also that kind of stuff, but like specifically the like real spiritual stuff like tarot and astrology are definitely very aesthetic hobbies, and they're really, really interesting, and they can really get you a long way in life, I think. Like, not just because like the specific hobby could get you places, it could, more so because like especially with tarot reading and astrology, you're basically fortune telling. You're basically like figuring out your life path ahead of time before anybody else is, because nobody's doing that. Same with like manifesting. That's a great thing as well. A great, firstly aesthetic, but secondly like really helpful hobby to get into, because well, manifesting, you're always manifesting no matter what you're doing. Whatever you're thinking about, whatever you're talking about, whatever you're consuming, you're attracting it into your life, whether you're trying to or not. Which is why often when you sort of get in a dark place, things can seem like they just keep coming at you because you're really stuck in a dark loop. But the same thing applies when you're stuck in a light loop. Like, my life is freaking awesome because I've worked really hard for that. But now that I've sort of come over the real hard bits, we've sort of got to a really nice place, I get to live up here in paradise. And I'm really happy. So things, good things come to good people, but good things come to people who put good things into the world, I guess, as well. Like, whatever you're putting out is what you're going to get back. So yeah, manifesting's a great aesthetic hobby that can really, really help you in life. Same with tarot. You're literally like making a connection with your spirit guides, with your angels, with your ancestors, your tipuna, whoever they are, God, whatever, like whoever you believe in, whatever you believe in, whatever you're open-minded to, because like, I mean, they could all be the same thing, they could all be different, I don't know any more than you do. All I know is I've tried it and it works, so I'd recommend it. But reading tarot, I have no idea how to do it, but it looks real cool. It seems like a really interesting thing to learn. It's super, super aesthetic, and you can end up being one of those people that helps other people as well. It's a pretty cool hobby to have something that can not only be beneficial for you but also beneficial for those around you. That's pretty cool. Same with astrology in that sense. It can definitely be like beneficial to all of, like, if you know about it, you're obviously going to tell people about it, and then they might get into it too, or they might just look into the stuff that they need to know for them. That's all good too, and then that might help them in their lives. So yeah, same sort of thing. But yeah, those are all of my aesthetic hobbies to talk about today. I have literally another half a page worth of ideas, so there'll be a follow-up to this at some point. But I don't want to exhaust this specific theme, so we'll just leave that for a little while. You enjoy these aesthetic hobbies. I hope you have a beautiful time. I hope you picked up something that you want to do, at least one thing, if not the whole list. Like, I'm doing most of them, so you can do as many as you like. But I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope it gave you lots of ideas of things that you can fill your time with besides just, social media, Netflix, YouTube, all the standard stuff. And I hope that it can bring you some joy in your life and help you to be happier and more fulfilled. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Give it a share if possible. And hopefully I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Kagizu. You know, when you talk so much, you gotta re-lubricate. Okay. Along with that one,